Hello RAPEC families, my name is Jason and we are going to explore how a parent or guardian can request changes to the addresses and contacts information for their child within Focus. In this video, we'll start with a desktop view and wrap up working from a mobile device using the RAPEC Focus app. So, go ahead and access your Focus Parent Portal and let's do this together. Now that you've logged in, let's take a look at where you'll go to make these requests. So, from this portal page, what you'll do is find over here on the left the two, in this instance, children associated with the parent account. You click on the student who you'd like to make changes for, and then find the child info link right underneath their picture. Once you click the child info link, it's going to bring you to a page that has the general information, but it also has all these different tabs. We're going to look for the house tag, and it lists addresses and contacts right beside it. Let's click that. Nice. Now that we're in there, we see some information. We see the address as it currently lists, the attached users, parents for this child, and we see over here a green button that says new address and a blue button that says new contact. So we're going to start by clicking on the address itself, so the existing address. Okay, so in this instance, we see that these are grayed out. So the primary address for a child needs to be requested from school admin, and it'll require some documentation, such as proof of address, in order to make those changes. So these changes to an actual primary address, not able to be made or requested from this page. So we're going to scroll down though and see that the student phone number we can change. And so we would just select the number and make our changes right here. Next, we could choose how we prefer this number to be used. Well, I want SMS. I want to get text messages, so that's great. I can scroll down farther, and I see here's parent 1 and parent 2. So it might be something where in this case, we want to change. Click on this, and from here, I can make the changes that I would like to my own account. So let's say that my email address has changed, and I need to change that. So it's not at Gmail anymore. It's actually at iCloud.com. And so I want to make those changes here. And I recognize, oh wait, hey, the system is not showing me as an emergency contact. Well, I'm an emergency contact. Let me click that. Here we go. Very good. And now I can also scroll down and add a phone number. This is an alternate phone. And I'm going to type that in here. Great. And this is where I can also say, hey, I want those SMS, or if I want it to be unlisted, I can make that request here. And so I'm actually going to change this to a different number than the one that I typed above so that we can see how that looks. All right. So at this point, let's say that I have myself had a change in address from the primary address, and I want to add that. Well, I can do that later, and it'll show up here, and we'll demonstrate that, but it'll show up here, and then I can come back and click that new address and change it for myself. So for now, let's click Save, and it will then prompt us, this change requires approval. A change request has been submitted. So the school administration will receive a notification that you desire that change or those changes to be made, and then they will approve or deny those. All right, so now let's demonstrate how to add a new address. Okay, so this new address is going to be in this example, my new address. So I'm no longer going to be living at the same address as the child. And so I'm going to list that here so that then it is shown as a secondary address for the child, but also where I myself live. So as I'm typing, the system's going to predict, just like it did at enrollment, hey, is this the address you mean? Yes, that is the address I mean. Thank you. I appreciate that help. Okay. Now, if you have a separate mailing address, you can click here and it'll unlock those fields. For this demonstration, I'm just going to use the same address. And now I can list a new phone number that's connected with this address and click Save. Again, this change requires approval. Change request has been submitted. Okay. So next, I'm going to show how to add a new contact. So for example, let's say that my child's grandparent needs to be added as, for example, an emergency contact and someone who can pick my child up. I click New Contact. I'm going to type their name in here. And he's going to be grandfather in this example. I'm going to say I want to opt out because the grandparent in this scenario does not want to get emails for everything that's coming from the school. Next, we're going to enable emergency and pickup. If we want to enable custody, that's going to require documentation, and so that would need to be handled through the school administration. I can also put in notes. Maybe that's a note that I wanted to include so that they know when Grandpa's picking up. All right. Now, if I want to add a phone number, I can do that here. Home phone, great. And I'm going to actually adjust the priority here. This is the number 3 phone that should be used. And I don't want to give text messages for this because maybe grandparent not so good with text messages. That's fine. And we can even keep it just like this so that it's there in the case of an emergency. I'm going to press enter. It's important that I press enter so it shows up down here. Okay. And now I'm going to click save. And again, it does require approval. Okay. Okay, so here we are, we're back, and we see that the additional address has been included, and we've got an additional contact here listed as grandfather and able to be an emergency contact who can also pick up the student. Okay, now there was one thing that I wanted to show as well, and that was now that we've got this address here, now I want to show that I have moved out of this address and over to the new one. So I click on my name. And then from there, I'm going to come down to the bottom here and see contact address. And it shows a little blue line on the one that's currently selected for me. So I'm going to click on the new address. It's going to say unable to save the form, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and continue. Please confirm that you'd like to change this. Yes, I want to confirm that. That's great. And then I'm going to click save. And it's going to go again and say this one requires an approval. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click X there and know that once that gets approved, that will be updated in the system. Okay, so now that the approval has been granted, the changes have been made, and now you see that listed here within the addresses and contacts. I really hope that helps. Please reach out to your school administration if you need additional support or assistance beyond this video. Take care. Okay, so here we are on a mobile device. I'm using an iPhone, but it works very similarly on other phone types. So I'm going to use this little circle here. You'll see it moving. That'll serve as my pointer. And what I want you to do is go ahead and open the Rapec Focus app. And when you do, you'll sign in, and this will be your parent portal view. Okay, so this is the overview, and we see the student here and their class list, but we're looking for this more info button right up here at the top. Let's tap that. Okay, once we do that, we'll see, okay, there are still the courses. We do have the green buttons here and a bunch of tabs along with the name and photo. But right here we have student info. That's what I'd like you to tap next. Next, we'll see this is that general page, and we see a little arrow right over here on the left. It's very easy to miss, so let's go ahead and tap that to expand out. These are the tabs that we see. Okay, we're looking for the home tab, and it says addresses and contacts right next to it. Let's tap that. Sweet. Now you'll see here's the address for the student, the linked users, linked students, and you'll see new address and new contact. All right, so we're going to go ahead and tap on the new address button. And when we do, we can type in the address we'd like to add. Great, and just like on the desktop version, you'll see these three dots, that ellipsis appears. We can tap that, and then it'll suggest, is this what you're talking about? And yes, that's the one we need. Okay, now we can keep swiping down the page, and we can enter the phone number right here and choose how do we want to be communicated with. I'm going to go ahead and enable SMS. And if we need to enter a separate mailing address, we can. When we tap that and toggle that on, these become live. But in this case, we're not going to do that. So we'll go ahead and toggle that back off. Just like on the desktop version, if I wanted to adjust the primary residence, I'm not able to do that from a request on the app or on the website. I need to go do that with the school administration because it requires documentation. So at this point, down here in the bottom right, I'm going to tap on the Save button, and we'll see the message, this change requires approval. Change request has been submitted. Okay, I'll tap that X and know that I have made that change request. So next, I'm going to go ahead and tap the new contact, add a grandparent here. Great. Like on the desktop version, we're going to opt out for the grandparent. This grandparent does not need a bunch of email notifications. Next, I'm going to go ahead and toggle on emergency because grandpa is an emergency contact and can pick up my child. And we're going to go with contact priority 3. That's great. Let's go ahead and add a phone number, that priority accordingly, because I want grandpa's phone to be the 3rd. That is, as you can see, and that's part of the reason I wanted to demonstrate this, you kind of have to tap in there just right. And if you swipe, notice that this will reveal hidden information there. And remember, I do want to make this one unlisted, and I don't want SMS, so I'm going to uncheck that because grandpa is not really good with text messages. Okay, I'm going to click Save. And again, change has been requested. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go make those changes and come back and demonstrate further. Okay, so in this example, we're back in, my user's here, but I'm no longer at that address. I'm supposed to be at this address. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on my link for my name here, swipe down, and then I'm going to tap on, instead of the one that's underlined in blue, I'm going to tap on the one that I just added and was approved. And you'll see that the blue line shows here, and it also asks for me to confirm that's what I want, which I do. Swipe down and click on the Save button. It will then submit my request, which needs to be approved by school admin. So now that the approval has been made to the change, we see everything's marked accordingly, new address, moved me there, and we have another contact added who is an emergency and can pick up. I hope that's helped. If you need additional assistance, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to your school administration. Have a great day.